Hello, I'm Toycat, and good news everybody, the Java version of the Copper Age update has officially gone into pre-release, which is great news for the end release of that update for all Minecraft players, but what's interesting is an update that should just be bug fixing and stable releasing the Copper Age has actually made some changes to end portals, and what's even more interesting is the Bedrock beta and preview that released today has at the very top of its changelog changes to the end portal gateway. Now this raises a lot of questions, and immediately people are going to start saying end update, but what is really happening with these end changes today? Well, let's go into it, because this is an update news video that comes to you in 4 separate parts, and you can subscribe if you want to see more of these, but let's get started with the very first one, which is that end craziness. So on the Bedrock version, the end portal gateway changes are actually there to change it so that players who were teleported to the void when using a floating portal and a trapdoor will no longer have to deal with the bug of dying instantly. That bug has now been resolved, which means as of this update coming out, which will be sometime in October, we imagine, you'll no longer have to worry about dying to the void. You've probably seen this on the internet. So many people have lost hardcore worlds and even craziness to this sort of stuff, and thankfully Minecraft are fixing that bug on the Bedrock version. On the Java version, they are changing it so that when you jump into a portal from more than 4 blocks in the air, you won't have that full damage follow you through to the other dimension. This is technically fixing a bug that has just been in the game for 6 years, so long that it seems like it's a feature, but they're changing it to effectively fix bugs because these updates, the Bedrock version of this update is here to fix the Copper Age, and the same is true for the Java pre-releases. They are trying to get the Copper update out as bug-free as possible, and so they should be fixing things mostly from that update, but while they're fixing bugs, I guess they end up fixing other things, and that's the best explanation I can give. I wouldn't say that this immediately means there has to be an end update, because ultimately I think that they are just fixing bugs, and although some bugs have ended up being hints about what they're doing in the future, I wouldn't say that seeing 2 bugs fixed across 2 editions of the game is enough of a hint to be 100% yet. I would say this is a hint, maybe 5% in that direction, but as we know, we're seeing lots of other hints that make it seem less than likely, at least for the next update. Maybe at some point in the future, maybe this is a hint that they're slowly working on the back end of the end and fixing some of the big issues about the dimension before they do more, but I would say an end update isn't the most likely thing, just based on what we've seen here. Speaking of what we've seen here, this is a Bedrock beta and preview for the 121.120.22 update. That is the update that will come out straight after the Copper Age, and while I'm working on expanding and improving my usual recording set, I'm recording from a temporary place above the TU31 area of my Let's Play world, and I'm here to tell you about changes this update made, such as copper and sulfire lanterns now having animated textures. This sounded so cool to me when I read it on the changelog, and so when we put it out in real life, I thought to myself like, it's interesting they're not really animated, and it's because they're animated in such a subtle way that you can stare at it for 10 seconds and not quite be sure that it's actually moved. This is a really interesting change if you ask me, but yeah, technically speaking, these textures are animated, but it's much more like how Prismarine is animated, where you can see changes are definitely happening, but like also sort of barely. Also, can you see that little hole in the Soul Lantern texture? I've only just spotted that right now. But you know what else I've just spotted right now? The fact that if I'm playing creative, I will no longer have a sound when interacting with shelves. This is something I can't really show you very well, but just imagine that there isn't a sound right now. Oh wow, look, it's so easy to imagine. That used to be a problem they have fixed in this update. They've also fixed a bug where Copper Golem eyes did not glow underwater in vibrant visuals. So here is a Copper Golem, here is me looking in through water, and as you can see, his eyes are very much glowing. I'll look at him from underneath too. Whoa, look how bright they are. They shine bright like a diamond, and really they light up your entire world. Speaking of lighting up your entire world, they've made Copper Golem changes on the Java version as well to make it so that they have better pathfinding, and in general it seems people are very excited about the Copper Golems in their current state, now for both Bedrock and Java, which is great news for the Copper Age. Speaking of the Copper Age, in the update after the Copper Age, this one that fixes a lot of bugs for Bedrock, they're also deciding to fix a lot of vibrant visual bugs, so by adjusting rendered settings to slightly reduce contrast across all biomes, to reduce the intensity of temperature-based color grading in biomes such as desert and mesa biomes, and also adjusted the sky color in the end dimension while adding unique biome settings for the roof forest biome. Now this is something I could only really show you in creative, so let's use that right now to show you how previously when you went to a desert it was super orange, kind of like this. Now apparently it still looks like that until you leave and then re-enter the game, where you should slightly see the difference, but you can see that the desert is now much less intense. It used to be people were calling it bit like Breaking Bad Minecraft. That has thankfully been changed. Whereas if we go to the roof forest, I do have a roof forest in this part of my world, if I'm not mistaken. Again, to clarify, this is a creative copy. I don't play my Let's Play world in the preview, as you should probably know. But you can see the roof forest has a very subtle change taking place here too, kind of making it feel a little bit like the Pale Forest in a way that I actually kind of find charming. As for the end, you know, honestly, I haven't seen this yet, so let's go in there and find out, shall we? This is the end. Oh, I don't know why my end looks like this. This is my end from a 2018 backup that I'm using for this video, and as you can see, the bright purple has gone away and is now much more of a purple-black. This is very interesting because when the end originally released with vibrant visuals, they went super purple and kind of said that it was their stated goal. Now it's a much darker black with just this kind of purple stripe around the middle. This is very, very, very interesting, and so if you use vibrant visuals, your end is going to change. Personally, I think that this end change isn't something I intuitively love. I don't think I can give much better feedback than just saying, like, it feels a bit weird and it feels a bit dark, but it does feel a bit closer to regular Minecraft, but I feel like somewhere between this and the old super purple end would be ideal, but maybe that's just me. Speaking of things that I find for just me, good news everybody, everything that's happened since 2018 was actually just a dream. You're still able to play battle mini-games in the old lobby. I'm just kidding. This is my TU31 world. And let's go back into what else has changed according to the change log. So there's a fun few simple changes that they've made to the copper golem. It will no longer render incorrectly in the UI. Sometimes it would have an arm wrong. Also, wither skeletons can now pick up copper swords. This is listed on the change log, to be clear. I will show you that right now, but I've tried lots of things and I cannot get this guy to pick up. Also, look at that, the glass becomes invisible when I get to it. I've tried lots of things, but I cannot get him to pick up any amount of copper swords. I've thrown copper axes at him, just in case that would be the difference. But yeah, supposedly he can pick up copper swords. Maybe if he doesn't have a sword already, but I feel like a copper sword should be an upgrade from his stone one, but he doesn't treat it like it is one, so that's something that needs to be fixed. Speaking of things that need to be fixed, that's what Mojang saw about waxing and scraping part. Oh, my axe is down there. That's how Mojang felt about... I guess I'll grab another axe. That's the good news, so I'm just gonna... Oh, I'm trying my best to use this box right here, and it's not letting me. Let's go grab myself another axe, a copper one I think is fitting, and let's use the copper axe to scrape the golem. And now they'll be at the golem himself rather than anywhere else. Isn't that great? Also, so let's grab some honeycomb. There was an axe in there already. As you can see, this is a nice improvement. The wax particles are around the golem rather than too high up. Also, they've improved stability around hopper destruction. Tell me if you know if you've been complaining about that. But now you know. I guess that's a useful thing. Also, we've got a few experimental changes to the API, such as light detection can now go from experimental to stable, and also swing animations like this now have a custom component that mean that mod packs can change that. Basically, this is something that Mojang are doing a lot of work on with the Bedrock behind the scenes, making it so that add-ons, data packs, worlds, etc. have more abilities to use. And so this is something they've done a very tiny bit of in this preview. But that is everything from this preview that was listed on the changelog officially. However, here's something fun you can only catch here. Well, first of all, here's a fun thing. I love this new menu screen where you've got the giant toy cat here. It's like, so, you're probably wondering how I got myself in this situation right here, huh? But anyway, I think this is a fun new menu. They need to make the settings menu big again, or make the browse add-ons button small. Ideally, they could do both those things, but I don't have high hopes because, you know, something money. But what's interesting is the fact that if we go to create new world, there is a brand new change that isn't listed on the changelog, but is found right here, because they've got this brand new button that shows achievements disabled, and yeah, it's a new part of the new UI, not listed on the changelog, but is here in the game for some % of players. So that is the second part of this video. Now, the third part of this video is to talk about Windows GDK. You'll see it listed at the very top there, and it's Minecraft's big pet project while we're in this weird awkward gap where the Java edition is receiving changes related to the Copper Age, and while they're working on the next snapshot and betas, but they can't reveal those publicly to us, instead Minecraft is working on making its Windows version for Bedrock much better. This is because they're moving from UWP to GDK, and on the end user purpose, all you need to know is that performance should get better, the game will run better, it will be built for your PC, you'll be able to tap in and out, run multiple copies at the same time, lots of delightful benefits, but there are some teething issues, and so one of those funny teething issues that I had with... It actually crashed while I was talking about how unstable it is, which hopefully is the biggest proof that yes, Minecraft Bedrock Preview needs an update to fix all of these issues. And so yeah, this is the GDK version of Minecraft. It obviously is going to have these things ironed out before it publicly releases, but right now there's some pretty low-hanging fruit to fix, such as not having to reinstall every time there's a preview, such as, I think an easy example, if I could make one right here, would be the fact that you shouldn't have to, you know, like re-tab out and in just to use blocks, or you should be able to import worlds, but these are the things that should and will be fixed, hopefully, in the next few weeks. Because right now, what are they going to be doing for those next few weeks? Because the Copper Age is finished, and this is something I want to address with the last part of this video, because yes, this is great news for the Copper Age. Now that the update has entered pre-release, they will not be adding any new features to it. They already basically weren't, because they couldn't add them to Bedrock, but, you know, Java gets a lot of features that Bedrock doesn't, and this is just an accepted fact of life for some percent of the development team. But what's interesting is the fact that, yeah, they've been adding these little tiny features here or there. No more of that. Now the Copyright Age is set in stone, and that's kind of fun because they are now going to be working on releasing that to the public. When will that be? Well, it's obviously been delayed internally because of Minecraft Live stuff, but I think it's interesting to note that, yes, we are now, therefore, unlikely to see any full drop features that we would be seeing right around now until that update has come out, because they want to reveal the full drop at Minecraft Live. That means that next week's beta and preview that would usually feature those things will instead just kind of have more bug fixes, more vibrant visual changes, more API things, and all of that craziness. Did you know, for example, in this preview, they made it so you can have custom blocks and you can have snowfall and rainfall properties for them. There's all sorts of fun little changes they make every week, and they'll be working on this technical and bug fixing side of the game until Minecraft Live is ready to announce things about it, it seems, which is an interesting place to be in, but that's where we are. And so hopefully this has been your update as to how Minecraft is doing changes to the end and to lanterns, and indeed also are kind of holding things up with regards to what we're seeing at the full drop, but we assume developing internally for what we're about to witness at Minecraft Live. I'm excited, hopefully you're excited, and yeah, we'll talk about all of that and more over the coming week, because I think that Mojang have been leaving lots of interesting hints, like this one, that make it seem like they want us to think there's an Ocean update coming. But with that said, thank you very much for watching, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.